Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be continuing the 2D series. So in the last video we went over how to make a basic 2D character and how to move him left and right. And then if he were to jump off of the ground, he would die because he would hit this box and would go to a death screen widget where he can respawn or restart. So there's that. And today we're going to be going over how to make the player jump, how to mess around with some settings with that, and we're going to be going over how to make the camera have like a little bit of a lag behind it. Like basically it has to catch up to the player. It doesn't just follow it immediately like this. I'll show you what that'll look like. A lot of 2D games have this, and it makes the game look a lot more smooth. We're also going to be going over how to pick up an object and display a widget saying you picked up whatever. It's going to be a chest, for example. Now, in the future, we can do an inventory system, like put items inside the chest where the player can pick it up. But today, yeah, we're just going to be going over how to pick up the chest and display a widget, and also a widget before that saying press F or E to interact to pick up the item. So that's what we're going to do today. So to start out, we're going to press Control Space. We're going to go to our sprites folder, and we're going to make a new folder and call it items. And first, we're just going to start off with making the chest. So really quickly, this doesn't have to be anything crazy. I'm gonna use a sprite actually. A sprite. So I'll go to File, New. It's not gonna look pretty. I'm just trying to get a basic idea. Go like that, and then I'll fill the rest of this in. Like this, and then there you go. There's your chest. It's not meant to look pretty. Okay, and then I'll just save this. I'll call it my chest. Put it in my documents. Yep. Export it. A PNG. Export it. Close out of GIMP. Click on our items folder. Import whatever thing you're making, or whatever thing you want to interact with or pick up. So there we go. And since it's a PNG image, you want to right click, go to Sprite Actions, apply Paper 2D settings. So now it is so now it actually displays as a PNG. And now I want to right click on it and press Extract Sprite. Go to Auto, Grid, make sure it is 32 by 32 or whatever size you made it, and whatever software you used. Press Extract, Control S to save it. And now we're gonna go to our blueprints folder, and we're gonna make a new blueprint class. Make it sure it is an actor. And I'm just gonna name this chest. Call it whatever you want. Underscore BP for the blueprint. I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna open up my project settings. So edit project settings. Go to Engine, Input, add a new action mapping, and we're just gonna call it interact / pickup. And for my case, I'm gonna press E. You can do E. I'm gonna press F. You guys can do E or whatever you want. F and E are usually the two most common ways to interact with an object in a game. So yeah, I'll just keep it F. You can also do F and E if you want, but I'll just leave it with F. And yep, just close out of that. And then I'm going to go to add, and I want to add our image in. And because it is a sprite, we want to add in a paper sprite. And I'm just going to name this chest underscore paper sprite PS. And then go to the source sprite, type in chest or whatever you called it, and now it shows up. This might be too big. We can fix it later if we need to. But now I'm just gonna add a box collision, which when the player goes inside the box, it'll say E to pick up, and then if you get out of the box, then it'll get rid of the widget or the text. So right click on the box collision, and we're going to go to add event, add on component begin overlap. Right click, add on component in overlap. We do not need these three, and we want to call our interact / pickup key that we just did in the project settings. Make sure it is under action events. And first, we want to call our player. So whatever you named him, we're gonna have to call him off of other actor. I called him player char, or what did I call him? Player 2D. You want to Control C, Control V, and add it into the end overlap. And now we're going to enable input. And our player controller, our target is our player. Player controller is get player controller. And we're going to say create widget. Add to viewport. And now we have to actually make our widget that we want to display. So go to our widget folder. I'm just going to rename this to UI. And right click on an empty space. Go down to user interface, widget blueprint. Click on user widget. And I'm going to name this interact screen _ W. I'll rename this to W. Most people call it, or just say _W, not _WD, WB. And now we're just going to add in our interact text. And open up our interact screen, or whatever you called it. We're going to add in a canvas panel. And we're also going to add in a text. I'm going to move it around, make sure the anchor is down here, or wherever you want the text to go. I'm going to type in F2 interact. What you could also do, if you want to make it a little bit nicer, you can add in an image, and 45 is usually a good size for what I'm about to do. You can go to Chrome or whatever you want, and you can just type in F key, import that into your game, and make sure that the image is set to the F key, whatever you want. Instead of just saying F to interact, you can actually show the F key itself. But I'm going to just say F to interact. And there's that. Now we're going to center this to the text. We could just rename this actually. F2 interact, or F2 pickup. And I'm just going to rename this to pickup screen, because we're going to be picking up the actual item. Okay, wait. There we go. And that should be all you really need in here. Actually, no, first we're going to go to graph, and we're going to make a little custom event real quick. We want to, actually, no, we'll do that later. Never mind. Yeah, just close out of that. And we call it our pickup screen, so that should be working. And now I want to remove from the parent once we get out of the box. So this will not display, but target is the return value. Removing the parent is removing the widget when we get out of the box. So now we're going to press G and left click, or just type in gate, and the enter will go to the pressed of our interact, open to the end of the viewport, or begin overlap, and then close to end overlap. Now I could just make this move over a little bit, and off of exit we're just going to say we're going to enable context sensitive, and we're going to say destroy actor. You can also add a sound, so you can say play sound 2D. I'm just gonna find a little sound real quick. That works. And then we want to so we want to first we're just gonna say print string, and we're just gonna say you picked up item to see if it works. Oh, you picked up chest, I guess. And now let's test this out and see if it works. We're going to add in our chests. Make sure it is on the line, which is 0 for me. And you can just move it over here. Press play. We go into it, it says F to pick up. We go out of it, it gets rid of the widget. So there, that's working. And now if we press F, F is not destroying it. So let's see what's wrong. We enable input. Once we press F to pick up, it displays the sound, and it should be destroying the actor. Interesting. Target. Let's see if this works. I don't think that should fix it. Oh, that works. Oh yeah, so we just had to get rid of the target. The target was actually just the self. So now if we press F, it says you picked up chest in the top left corner, and it actually destroys the actor. So now if you want to make this a little bit nicer, what you can do is make a new widget, calling it picked up chest underscore W, opening it up, adding a canvas panel and a text. I could have just duplicated the other widget I just made to make it faster, but whatever. And I'll just type in you picked up chest and anchor it down here. And there we go. Now inside of the graph, we're going to delete this, and we're going to make a new custom event. I think we can do it in both places, or chest and in here. But we're just going to say widget display time, or whatever you want to call it, UI display time, whatever. And we're just going to say delay of, let's say we want this to say you picked up a chest for like 3 seconds, and then we're going to say remove from parent, and that should be good. And then off of print string, we're going to say create widget. We're going to say you picked up chest, add it to the viewport, and I'm going to call our function display widget time. Compile and save it. Our target is the return value. Add a little reroute node. Now we can play it. If you go up to it, press F, it says you picked up chest. and it deleted it in 3 seconds. We can also get rid of this print string since we just added our UI that says you picked it up. And now that should be working. So obviously you can edit how long you want it to display. It might be a little too long, but that's fine. So now that's working. And if you can also just get a sequence since we're doing 2 things at the same time. Some people like doing this where we just do this. Actually, yeah. If you want to do 2 things at once, you can just add this to the execution. And this is the first thing it's going to do. It's going to play the sound and destroy the actor. And then it's going to add the widget to the viewport. This should not change anything. And there you go. That can make it a little bit nicer for some people to look at. I'm gonna just leave it like that. It doesn't matter. And of course, we can comment this and we can just say pick up chest / display texts. And I'm gonna compile and save it. Now we can close out of that. And now that is how you make a basic object and pick it up while displaying a message saying pick it up, or whatever message you want to say, and then adding the message for a certain amount of time, saying whatever once you picked it up. Now we're going to make the player jump. So we go to our blueprints, go to our player jump. I mean our player, our player character. We're going to go to the product settings because you actually want to make a new input. So engine, input, action mapping, call it jump, then whatever key you want. I'm going to say W spacebar and the up arrow. And actually, let's not use W. W is fine, I guess. Okay. And we're just going to call that in our player character jump. Make sure it is the action event. Off of pressed, we're going to, you can do this multiple ways. We're just going to do it the simple way, which is really nice. We're just going to say jump. It's that simple. And then release to just stop jumping. Now, since this is a 2D game, this is really all you need. You can go into the character movement and start editing the settings. I'll do that in a sec. But just real quickly, since why not? Let's say you're making a 3D game and you're watching this and you want to edit the height. There's an easier way to do this sometimes. You can just say jump max hold time. You want to promote this to a variable, make sure it's a float, and then you can rename this or height and compile, save it, and usually 0.1 or 2 is good. I'm going to say 0.2, and usually this would just the height. This is how high your character is going to jump. But since it's a 2D game, it's not going to really change anything. So if I jump right now and I delete this, it's not going to really change anything because it's not a 3D game. So there's that. You can also say, off a jump, you can say play sound 2D. And I'm going to call my jump sound I just added. So I added a little sound in. You can go to your browser and you can open up go to this website called freesound.com, and this is a legit website where you can get free sound. Search up jump, download it, and then add it into your game. And that's that. You can comment this jump, and real quickly, if you want to edit how high the player jumps, you have to go to your character movement and then type in jump, and then jump Z velocity. Z is up and down, or I mean X is up and down, but Z in this case is how high the player is. So set to 200 right now. I'll just say set to like 400. centimeters per second. And if we press W or space, whatever your keyboard you did, that's how high your player's going. Again, it was at 200 and the player went this high. So I like, let's say 250, maybe 300 is probably a good height for my player. That's a pretty good height for how big the player is. Obviously, it depends on how bigger player is, then that's how much higher he will jump. There's that, and then we also have air control. So right now, just to show you, I'm gonna make the height 600. So this will be easier for demonstration. My air control. So that's when I jump and I press D or A to move left or right. That's how much my player can move left or right. That's just too high. You can't see as well. Let's say 400. So I can move left and right while I'm in the air. If I decrease the air velocity or the air control, my bad, let's say 20, you wouldn't be able to move left or right as much. Now let's say it was 0.1. I can hardly move the player left or right at all. So a lot of people like to have it between 20 and 50. I'm going to keep mine at 30. And that's pretty nice. So if I jump over here, I can jump back instead of, falling off the edge if it was a lot lower. Air control, you can do a bunch of other stuff in here, but that's basically all the easy stuff. You also want to enable can jump. Make sure that is enabled. So if this is not working, it's probably because it's not enabled. So make sure to tick that. And now it should be working. Now, that's all you need to know for jumping, really. Now we're just going to add some camera lag. So right now, the camera follows the player instantly. There's no lag at all behind it. So in order to do that, we're going to go to our viewport, and on our spring arm, if you don't have that added in, you can just add in a spring arm. Make sure the camera is the child of the spring arm, and then we're going to go to lag, enable camera lag, and then this is how fast the camera will lag. So let's say 10. Let's see how much that is. When I move left or right, you can see that the camera is lagging behind it. Maybe that's a little too much. Let's just say 3. And now that's still, actually, let's just say 50. Maybe that's too fast. That's too fast. Let's say 30. And that's a decent amount of lag right there. It looks kind of nice. Obviously you don't have to have this, but a lot of 2D games have that, and it's just good to know. So there you go. That is how you create an object, display a text when you pick it up and when you're inside the box about to pick it up, how you enable camera lag, and how you make the character jump with sound. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll probably be posting more videos on this series. See you in the next video.